interested in medical jurisprudence, medical ethics, and the information we discussed, there is a 4-disc set of 9 hours of lectures available on Amazon.com that you can get that have actually done. It's a course that I teach, so if any of you are interested later in getting a good review, if you need it for boards, on medical jurisprudence, medical ethics, basic law for physicians, the medical jurisprudence, medical ethics course is available on Amazon.com. So I just mentioned that for you. In fact, it's not available yet. It will be available next month. That being said, we have some time left. I want to leave time for questions and then a couple of visual demonstrations. Any questions, please, if you have them, please ask. Okay. A few visual demonstrations, and if any other questions come to mind, then we will address them. Key issues. There may be times when you appear in the courtroom because of malpractice. Malpractice issues, please keep in mind. We hear a lot about it. However, please know that not everyone is going to be facing a malpractice case in their life. And it's not something that we all have to live in fear. It's just important to keep in mind that should that happen, you want to be certain that you have access to an attorney, and you also want to be certain that you have access to good malpractice insurance. A quick visual demonstration, if I might. A deck of cards. Shuffle the cards so that hopefully, and I hope you all can see, that this deck is hopefully as mixed up as I am. And I will ask, if I may I ask you, because you're close to me, just to say stop at any time? Stop. Very good. I'm going to have you please remove the card at which you stop me. I don't want to see it. I will step back. And I just want you to show it about the room so that others may see it. And once everyone has seen it, I just want you to hold it face down so I cannot see it. And I just want you to say, we've seen it. Very good. Thank you, thank you. Excellent. I'm going to hand you the deck. And then I'm going to ask you please to take the card, place it into the deck, and then mix the cards so that the card that you selected at random is now placed back into the deck, mixed in, and so now it is randomly placed in the deck. And thank you. We want to be careful. When we are practicing medicine, we do not want to be cavalier in our practice. You see, what we don't want to do, and this is the same in the courtroom, if we are there to testify or if we are doing a deposition, we don't want to cavalierly give an answer and say, oh, yes. Because you see, imagine you're surprised that I've selected the card that is not yours. Imagine my surprise if it had been. If we answer in the courtroom cavalierly, or we practice medicine as such, we want to be sure we have one of these. As a magician, I have to carry my magician's malpractice insurance. The most common contract in the United States is the insurance contract. The least often read document in the United States is the insurance contract. So please be certain that when you obtain a malpractice policy, that you read the terms and conditions of your policy. The first condition of this policy is all parties involved must be playing with a full deck. Hopefully we're there. And you want to be certain that the insurance policy that you have covers your practice. Question? Okay, thank you. Anyone in the room comfortable with bingo? Does anyone play bingo? All right, we have a bingo player. I have 6 bingo cards, and they have random numbers anywhere from 1 to 47 on them. And I'm going to ask you silently to think of any number you would like, silently, between 1 and 47. Okay? And once you have your number, I will come up to you. Do you have your number? Very good. I'm going to, you're fine, I'm going to ask, do you, don't tell me what your number is, but do you see your number anywhere on that card? You do. I ask you just to hold that. Thank you. Do you see your number anywhere on that card? No. Okay. I ask you to hold that. Do you see your number anywhere on that card? No. Okay. And I appreciate your taking the time to be thorough. Excellent. Do you see your number anywhere on that card? Okay. Thank you. Do you see your number anywhere on that card?
No.
Thank you. And do you see your number anywhere on that card?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Please hold on to your number. Bless you. You all remember that we used books the first time I had the privilege, pleasure, and honor of meeting with you all? Yes, yes. I brought some books back. And in fact, today we are talking about medical jurisprudence, so I brought The Dream of the Accused. And again, The Dream of the Accused reminds us that in 75% of all civil cases, medical information may be involved. In 25% of all criminal cases, medical information may be involved. We want to be certain that when we chart very clearly, we chart very professionally. We want to be sure that when we testify in a courtroom, we are clear and concise. And when we are engaged in being deposed, that our answers are short, concise, and appropriate. Bless you. Now, if I may, may I hand you this text? Would you agree that that is the most authoritative text on The Dream of the Accused we have available? The answer is, it's only one source. Yes. Can you tell us how many pages are in that book?
199.
199. From 1 to 199, may I ask, what page would you like from 1 to 199? Sure. I knew that. But that's okay. I'm going to ask you please to turn to page 88 in the book. And then I'm going to ask you please to look at the first line, the top of page 88. And I'm going to ask you to silently select the biggest word, the longest word, the most letters, the most syllables, because that will make this the most impressive. And then if you want, I'll ask you please to show that same word to the person next to you so that he can corroborate it with you. Very good. Now have you send the book back down. Excellent. Magazines. Thank you. And I brought a myriad of magazines with me from my waiting room at the office. Several business magazines, the Journal of the Missouri Bar, Washington University, Current Psychiatry, many magazines. And I'm going to ask, if I may I ask you please just to point to 3 of the magazines, if you will. These 3 right here. Yes? Okay, very good. And then, well, let's see here. We'll come up the side here. I ask you please to point to 2 of the magazines. These 2, very good. And that will then leave us 1. Can I hand you that? I'm going to ask you please, if you will, just to look through the magazine, find a page with print on it. And once you do, I'm going to ask you please to silently select a word. Now, for today's purposes, I'm going to ask you, if you will, to select the biggest word, the longest word, the most letters, the most syllables, because that will make this the most impressive. And please look through, and once you find the word, please show it to your colleague. Take your time. No need to rush. This is the same thing in the courtroom. When you're being asked to testify, we don't want to rush. We're not stressed. We're being asked a question. We're evaluating it, analyzing it, and now we're going to give the appropriate answer scientifically. If you'll please send the magazine back down. We have a lot of things floating around. We have numbers, thank you. Words, pages that were selected, thank you. And if you are thinking of a number, if you were asked to, or if you have a word tucked away, if you'll please raise your hand. Yes. The number that you're thinking of, please also, when we get these correct, which could be all day, when we get these correct, please let us know. Be excited. Feel as if you're a contestant on a game show. What's it? Yes. Come on down, exactly. Because you see, you're thinking of a number. And the number that you're thinking of reminds us, when we give an answer on a deposition, when we give an answer in the courtroom, we want to be specific. The number you're thinking of, if I'm right, is the number 34. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. And a word was selected from a magazine. Is that correct? I don't want you to tell me the word, but I'd like you to share with your colleagues present the first letter of your word. Just, okay, the letter H. And a word was selected at random from a page that was selected at random. Is that correct? Yes. The word selected at random, both from a magazine that was selected at random and a page that was selected at random, reminds us, your word. In the courtroom, and I'm getting a picture of a letter that you're thinking of, and if I'm right, I think the letter, I'm getting a letter E. And in fact, what we want to do is irritating movements, inappropriate attire, anger, irritability. All of those as a witness need to be eliminated. Is that correct? And our role is not to be an advocate for the patient. Our role is not to be an advocate in the courtroom for whomever the plaintiff is. We're the defendant. Our role is merely to tell the truth, to apply the science that we know as a physician to the facts, and to be the best clinician, physician, and scientist we can be, and most truthful. Even though the result may come from the court heartbreakingly, is that correct? Thank you all very much. Almost being done with your initial medical education. I'm proud of you all, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of your education. Thank you.